Well, hello.
Hello there.
Welcome back to my amazing friends, and welcome to those who are new. If you just happen to come across this video and your suggestions and you have never seen my face, my name is Scotty, and on this channel we love to thrift, we love whimsical stuff. A lot of us are huge nerds, love cosplay, love to express ourselves. So if all of that vibes with you, make sure you hit the red subscribe button and join the fam. So living up to my trash panda nature, this week we are going to be thrifting at the bins. And not only are we going thrifting, I am actually going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way when it comes to thrifting at the bins. And when I say the bins, I am specifically referring to the Goodwill outlet. And it is lovingly called the bins because that's literally what it is. They just bring out tons of crap in bins. And it is a highly competitive thrifting scene. It's also very laborious, very dirty. So it's not like your typical thrift day, which is why I wanted to kind of make this thrifting the bins for dummies style video. However, I just want to clarify a couple things. A, I am not a professional when it comes to thrifting the bins.
These are prizes I won, Mother, from Army.
And yes, there are people that are considered professionals. And like I said, it is highly competitive. It is a hot spot for resellers, vintage sellers, etc. So when you go in there, it's a whole other animal, baby. When I say whole other animal, I mean the people. The difference between this Goodwill and other Goodwills is A, nothing is hung up or put on racks. It's all in these big rolly tubs. And B, you pay by pound. So you just bring everything up to the register. They don't price it individually. And you just throw it on a scale, like a plastic tub, and they weigh it. The price per pound depends on your location. I know in bigger cities, it is more. Where I live, I think it's about $1.50 to $2 per pound. And then when it comes to books and like heavier weighted objects, they do sometimes just price those individually, but usually they'll be like 15 cents to $1. I know my local bins, books are like 15 cents. Usually they'll have a sign on the side of the wall that just has the individual prices for things if they do differ from the poundage. So just so you guys are aware, it's a very different process than the normal thrifting. Now, that being said, it's a lot easier to fill up a whole cart. When you do so, you end up not spending nearly as much as you do at the normal Goodwill. Now, nowadays, the normal Goodwill is popping off with their prices. So it's easy to spend $20 just for a couple of items. Now, when it comes to tips, I'm just gonna kind of start at the beginning. When you first walk in, you know what to expect. Again, when you walk in, you're gonna see a bunch of bins and they're gonna be kind of lined up. At my bins, at the front, it's all like miscellaneous items like homeware, non-textile items. Now, sometimes there will be textiles mixed in, like pillows, pillowcases. And then at the back, you'll see textiles, at least at mine. It's gonna be different at every place. So you'll see clothes, sheets, curtains. Nothing is organized and it's all mixed sizes, departments, categories. It's all the same. How they usually do it is after a certain amount of time, they roll the bins away and they bring out new ones. When they do that, they will clear a whole row and everyone has to stay behind the line, and then they will bring out the new line of bins. And then after they're done bringing them out, you can then go in and start shopping and start digging. And I usually avoid that because that is where people literally just rush over and they crowd the line. They will yell at people to stay behind the yellow line, do not go early, and then they just swarm in. This particular trip, people were not following the rules, and the moment they came out with a new bin, everyone started flocking to the bin and just jumping right in and surrounding it like frickin' angry mob and just pulling crap out and like scattering stuff everywhere. I felt so bad for the employees because at least this one lady who was bringing stuff out, she was getting very frustrated and was yelling at people to wait. As far as I know, I've always seen you're supposed to wait until the entire line is out and stay behind the yellow lines on the floor, and then when they say go, you go. But no one was doing that. It was mostly a bunch of young kids, I noticed. I would say about either high school, college age boys, and they were like flocking to the hoodies and the jeans and pants and stuff. So I don't know, maybe they're getting school clothes. I have a feeling that they're kind of the new generation of resellers. Now, the reason why I say I don't generally like to wait for the new bins is because the stuff that I am looking for is not technically trendy. As if you're not new to this channel, you know that the stuff that I'm into and the stuff that a lot of you guys are into are a little bit more niche. Not really stuff that local resellers, at least in my area, are after. People in my area are after like Nike, Adidas, name brands like Zara, Madewell, super trendy stuff, designer stuff. That's what everybody's looking for. It's a lot of contemporary items, whereas I'm looking for a lot of vintage, grandmacore, cottagecore, and I'm also looking for stuff that I can DIY and craft with. So I have had a lot of luck going through bins that people have already gone through. So I very much enjoy just going off to the side where no one is at the bins that are a little bit more picked over. And when I say more picked over, they're still full of stuff. There's still plenty to go through. And if you've seen one of my previous hauls, you will see that I have gotten a lot of stuff. And that is just from shopping through the bins that have already been scoured through by these local resellers and youths. But this time I did try. I was like, I'm just gonna get in line, I'm gonna wait. And then that happened. These kids were just like ravenous wolves going through the bins. And I was like, this is why I don't do this. What I did instead is I would like wait for them to move down the line and then I would jump in, and that actually helped because sometimes when they first bring the bins out, they are just overflowing and it's really overwhelming to try to dig through and you never get to the bottom. So I would just wait for them to kind of pick through, grab what they wanted, and then I would go in, and that seemed to be the method. And I do the same thing for the homewares because they do the same thing there. They like swarm in, so I avoid it. A lot of people that are giving you tips are gonna tell you to wait in that line to get the best stuff, but if you're niche, if your taste isn't super popular, I wouldn't stress. Now, I just kind of wanted to give you guys like an overview of what the shopping experience is. Now I'm gonna let you guys know what you should bring with you because you do not want to go ill-prepared. What I notice a lot of people do and what I used to do is I would go with latex gloves, and that is because the stuff that you're digging through is dirty. So a lot of the stuff that they bring to the clearance center is A, stuff that did not sell, or B, there was an overflow of donations, so it never made it to the stores, which is why you still might find really good stuff. But because it's just random crap, literally you'll find like used masks, just gross stuff like underwear. Not stuff you want to touch with your bare hands. Latex gloves, if you have them on hand, definitely bring those and bring several different pairs. I, however, recently upgraded to these thinner rubber coated garden gloves. I got these ones at Daiso. You can also get them like at the Dollar Tree. They're a lot more sturdy and they last, like I can use these for several trips. And the reason why I started using these is because a couple times my latex gloves ripped and I stupidly only brought one pair, and it was just a lot of waste constantly having to throw these gloves away. So honestly, one pair of these probably costs less than a box of latex gloves, and less things to throw away, being sustainable. So I have a couple different pairs. I wore a different pair this last trip, but these have been a lifesaver. Second item, I didn't really use this time, but if you're buying clothes for yourself and you wanna make sure that they fit, there is no way to try them on there and you don't want to. Gross. What I would suggest to bring is a sewing measuring tape. I have one that's just like the long one, but I would actually suggest one of the retractable ones. I don't have mine on hand to show you, but I'll pop up an image of what they look like. They're super cheap. You can usually find them like at the dollar store. And I wear leggings with pockets usually because I'm trying to be comfy. I'm not trying to dress cute for this place. So I will just have it in my pocket so I can do a quick little measure. I didn't use it this time, but you know, just to have it on hand. Next, getting a cart is a freaking nightmare. They don't have a list like other Goodwills do where you can get on a list. They don't care. They're not staffed for that, to manage the carts. So what people usually do is if someone's checking out with a cart, they'll literally just go over and just take the cart from the person as they're checking out. Scavengers, man. I wouldn't count on getting a cart. So there are a couple things that you can do. My favorite go-to has been to bring my big old boy IKEA bag that fits a lot of stuff. It has both like long straps and short straps, and it's not a huge headache to carry around. You can also bring tote bags, just something bigger that can carry a lot of stuff, especially if it's like a bulkier item. You could just throw it in there. If you forget to bring bags, don't freak out, because a lot of times when I've forgotten, I've found like baskets and reusable tote bags in the stuff that I have then commandeered and used. Another thing I've noticed people use is they will bring their own flea market carts, that is totally okay. They do not care. Again, people are feral in that place, so they don't really care. As long as you're following their rules, they're not gonna say anything. So if you see a hamper in the bin and you didn't bring take that hamper out. Heck, I've done that after I filled my bag and I still didn't get a cart and I had a lot of heavy items. You can slide around, like sometimes I've seen people use laundry baskets. Just do what you gotta do, you know? That is a pro tip and just something that I've observed people do. Next, even if your state does not mandate masks, still wear a mask because it is gross. Don't accidentally touch your face. Also, when you're moving stuff, a lot of stuff gets kicked up like dust, allergens. You don't know what's in this stuff. So I would have your face covered. I feel so gross after I leave anyway. Everything that I'm wearing just instantly goes into the laundry along with everything that I bought. And I take a shower. So the next item I would suggest bringing hand wipes. It's one thing to just get the germs off, but even if your hands are covered, I'm just like wiping everything down after. It's just gross, man. You don't want to know the things I've seen in the bin. Not that that should detract you from going and trying it, because again, you might find something super duper cool. I have seen Christian Dior nightgowns and vintage. I've seen people thrift gunny sacks there on TikTok and YouTube. So it's worth the dig. It's worth the treasure hunt, and it is an actual treasure hunt. It's not like regular thrift. You're literally digging. Also, I wear Doc Martens usually because people are crazy. There's people throwing stuff, there's people trampling. Maybe not trampling. You might get a slight shove every once in a while. Some people are nice. They'll be like, oh, sorry, it was an accident. That's my other tip. Be nice. If someone's reaching for something and they can't reach it, hand it to them. If someone asks you, hey, can you grab that for me? Do it. A little bit of kindness goes a long way. And sometimes you can form pacts with people and like kind of rapport, and you can like help each other out, which is kind of funny. That's happened to me a couple times where I was like, oh man, I'm looking for something like this, but not like this. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll keep an eye out. And then they'll like help you out. That's pretty dang cool when you can find that. But at the same time, don't get your hopes up because people are probably sourcing for their business and they will get competitive. So also don't be announcing your finds like, oh my God, look what I found. You know, I accidentally did that once and all eyes were on me. And I was like, oh shoot. I have not had the experience of people stealing from my finds, like from my basket, but I would not be surprised. So keep a close eye on your finds. I haven't heard of it, I haven't experienced it, but I would not be surprised. So just be careful. Be careful, but be polite. Don't be shoving people, don't be stepping on people. Say please and thank you, but also don't be a sucker. All right, so now that we've talked through all of the things, and if I forget anything, I'll just add it in post as like a little pop-in. But now let's do a haul. Now this is not my biggest or best haul, but there's still some gems in here. So we're gonna go through it. It's definitely worth it. We're gonna start off in the clothes first, and I'm not going in order because I literally don't remember when I bought what. I have these bike shorts. I really love the color. I'm not really usually a bike short person, but come summertime when I wanna wear my comfy leggings, but it's hot, these will really come in handy. Also, the bonus is that I love this color. I have been accumulating a lot of this color, and I was wearing a sweatshirt that matched these shorts at the time, and I will most definitely wear that as an outfit later. Next, I got this really cute Robbie B frilly kind of piratey blouse. It has a little bit of a flare at the sleeve. When it's on, it looks very much like a kind of a whimsigoth vibe meets pirate. I'm into it. I was gonna sell this, but no, I'm keeping it. It's mine. This next one though, I might sell. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of similar, but it's an off-the-shoulder smocked top, and it has kind of fluffy sleeves, and it's also kind of like that chiffon style flowy fabric. So I will be deciding if I want to keep this or not, but super duper cute. And then the last clothing item, I did the thing where I reacted, and I try not to react because I don't want to like give away my finds. Although this was a little niche, so I wasn't too worried. But I was digging through, and I just saw like a peep of what it was, and I immediately recognized it. It's a freaking Animal Crossing shirt. So I squealed, and the guy next to me laughed at me because I got so excited. And it had a little fruit cute on the arm, and it looks brand new. It's by Cakeworthy, and it has Timmy and Tommy in the bells, and it's so freaking cute. So next, I also got from the textiles, but it's not clothes. So I've been wanting to thrift a quilt to make a quilted jacket, because if you watched my antique fair video, you will see that I was obsessed with the quilted coats, but they were super duper duper expensive and I can't afford that. But now that I have this quilt home, I don't want to cut it up. The more I look at it, the more in love with it I am. So it has this kind of a checkered effect, but if you look closely, it's actually a dark floral. And then it's this beautiful lilac color with a ditzy floral pattern on it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's handmade, and I thought it was beat up, but it's not. It was just a little dirty, but now that it's washed, it looks so good. And I also know that it's handmade because somewhere on it, if I can find it, someone hand embroidered. I think someone made this as a baby blanket. Where is it? I found it. Someone embroidered the date on it, January 8th, 1993, and the initials JDT. So I think this was like a handmade gift for a baby. Although it's a little bit big to be a baby blanket. I'm not sure the context, but it's just, it's so cute. And I realized why I love the combination of the checkered with the floral so much. It reminds me of the cover of the Cicely Mary Barker fairy books, the checkered in the corners. And so I can't bring myself to cut this up to make a jacket out of it because it's just too pretty. And so this will definitely be used in my house as a blanket. And then next, I just have a few odds and ends. First, I got this bag of assorted autumn leaves, which I will most definitely be using for crafting. So I like to keep an eye out for things that I can use for crafting. Next, I found this lone bookend, which kind of looks like books, which y'all know I'm a sucker for that. But what I love about it is there's a freaking spiky ball on it, and I think it had a chain. I'm gonna add a chain. I tried to find the other one and I couldn't find it. A couple times I found bookends at the bins and I was able to find the other bookend in another bin eventually. This one I never found, but I still got it because it's super cool, and I'm probably gonna repaint it and do something crafty with it. And then I also got this scrapbook. I actually rebound it myself. When I found it, the cover was detached from the pages, but it hasn't been used, and I really love the corners. And so I just added some twine to the binding so that it can stay closed and it can open and all that. It's just not the most professional binding ever, but it works. And I have no idea what I'm gonna use this for, but I thought it was cool. I like it. And then lastly, I got this frame, and you can actually find a lot of frames like this there, either frames or like artwork. They do take the glass out because it will most likely get broken and it's a liability. So if you're looking for something with like full frames with the works, you're not gonna find that there. So when it comes to framing like your own artwork or canvases, this is perfect. Even has a little wire in the back, so I'll probably find a use for this, and I will probably paint it gold. Oh, I did forget there's one more item, although it is over on my crafting desk right now. I did find a leather belt. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I like to find leather belts at the bins to make leather things out of. Like right now I'm gonna be making some skirt hikes for my upcoming Ren Fair Whatnot show. So for those of you who went feral for my skirt hikes last time, I will be having more ready. So yeah, I usually thrift leather belts, but it's most cost effective to get them at the bins because you're paying per pound and it's less than a pound. So if you're wondering how much I spent at this particular trip, I believe the total was around $15 and some odd cents. So for all of that, that's pretty dang good. How much do you think I would have spent at the normal Goodwill for all of that? Put your guesses or your calculations in the comments. So that's about it. If I missed any, if there's any tips that you have for the bins, if you're a pro, go ahead and also put that in the comments as well. Share your tips and tricks with others. On this channel, we do not gatekeep, we share with the class. We want everyone to be successful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped out. If you've never been to the bins and you want to, I also hope that I inspired you to also buy secondhand and find creative ways to do things fashion and DIY wise. I don't know what this sentence is. You get my drift. It is a half thought that is a full thought eventually once translated. So make sure you guys hit like on this video again. And if you're not subscribed, do it. And hopefully next week we will have a crafty video. I am not sure. I am filming like 3 or 4 videos at once right now. So bye.